All right, I'm here with Dakota Wright from Salomon. We got a lot to talk about today at the summit, but I think for starters, let's just dive right into the big changes on the ski side of things. Tell me about the new QST series.
Yeah, totally. 2025 QST. I think the biggest way to kind of start with QST is that we are in Gen 4. Mm-hmm. QST has been in the market since 2016, mm-hmm. which is a long time.
Yeah.
And so to lay the groundwork for like what we have now, kind of thinking back to those previous 3 generations, you know, we've had a lot of learnings, and I think the general idea when QST came out was versatility, precision, and performance. And those are things that have kind of carried through each generation, and it's definitely still the main driver behind the new generation of QST. And so trying to be as versatile as possible, trying to provide new waist widths to kind of match the consumer's need and really figure out like where we can kind of continue to dial in on that versatility and performance aspect of things. And so moving away from QST 98, which was a pretty popular ski for us, as well as the QST 92, we've come out new for 25 with QST 94 and 100, which we found are 2 really kind of crucial waist widths in the market. And so those are the 2 completely new skis from us. Name stays the same, but from a QST perspective, the entire line is different. New constructions, new shapes, new side cuts, rocker profiles, the whole 9 yards. And that's top down. That's Blank, 106, 100, and 94. Starting with the 94, moving away from the 92, I think the general consensus was that the 92 is pretty entry-level focused. We lovingly referred to it as the Joe Pro model, the dad ski.
I love that ski.
Yeah, dude, it was the best.
Yeah.
It was a really, truly a phenomenal ski. It had great edge grip and a really nice shape. But what we found is that we wanted to bump that waist width up a little bit, make it a little bit more versatile, something that somebody could grab on the wall and have a little bit more confidence in, especially in those like New England areas, but adding a little bit more performance. And so with the 94, we added cork into the tail as well.
Okay.
And then it's a new wood core layup, so it's a full tip-to-tail poplar wood core. Cork in the tip and the tails, and then a new, we're calling it BST, so moving away from CFX, to a basalt fiber stringer that runs through the tip and the tail of the ski as well.
Gotcha.
Making it super damp. The other really kind of fun call out is, I mean, to be clear, every QST shares the exact same technology and same insides. Obviously they're tweaked for the type of skiing that we're trying to do and the model that we're talking about, but they all share the same innards. They're all full poplar wood core. They're all full sandwich sidewalls. They all share the corked amplifier in the tip and the tail, and then they all share that same BST technology.
I've gotten familiar with like the cork inserts. You guys have been using those for a while to add damping out there. What was the driving factor switching from, was it carbon and flax to now basalt and fiberglass?
Correct, yeah, totally. The way to kind of lay it out is that what we found with the cork is that we were, in previous generations of QST, using a different material in the tip and the tail to try to add dampening and lightening and kind of allowing that ski to be able to maneuver the way that you're trying to. But with cork, it dampens. We've actually found that cork in the tip and the tail dampens more than certain layups of metal. But I'm glad you brought it up because the cork that we're using in the tip and the tail this year is actually quite different from the previous model. We've found a way to mono-inject cork and TPU at the same time. And so in the past, right, the ski would go into the mold, and when we would get to that layer, a layer of TPU would go in, and then another layer of cork would go on top. And so you'd end up kind of with this, like, these 2 layers that had to work together to add that dampening. And so this new corked amplifier is mono injection, so it's all one piece. And we've found that kind of brings it up even more and really reduces chatter through the tip and the tail. And so that turns into, why did we go to, basalt over the carbon flax? And we've found that the basalt, while, it is a change, it's it doesn't have to dampen as hard as the carbon flax did. That layer can actually be a little bit smaller because the cork and the tip and the tail kind of adds more of the dampening feeling. But the salt it adds quite a bit more energy to the ski.
Gotcha.
And really kind of helps bring the dampening all together, but really keeping the ski super, super playful. And that's true through the entire QST line.
Gotcha. Moving back to the QST 94 in particular, seems like it also changed shape pretty substantially versus the QST 92. What's the rationale behind that update?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think we added a bit more side cut, a really unique tail, a little bit of a flatter tail, and then the tip shape is still somewhat similar. And I think the idea there was adding more of that performance and precision, something that you could really stand on edge and find that nice edge grip and make those really kind of nice, big GS turns. While the 92 was a really great shape, what we wanted a ski that could do all of those things and then take off piste and also really light it up. And so with that new tail shape, the ski connects up really well, holds a really nice turn, but then it's also super easy to let those tails wash out when you get into, you know, chalky bumps or whatever.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think the QST 92 stood out to me as like a narrow all-mountain ski that felt like a wider all-mountain ski. It had a pretty tapered tip and tail, was so easy to pivot wherever, but I can definitely see wanting to maybe get a bit more precision on piste, especially in that 90 to 95 underfoot category. How about the QST 100? We're talking about several updates that apply to all these skis, but what would you say the main differences are between the QST 100 and the QST 98 that it replaced?
Yeah, I mean, it's completely new shape. Less side cut, less taper, way more rocker in the tip and the tail. The whole idea behind QST 100 is playfulness.
Okay.
And like it is truly an all-mountain playful ski wherever you want to go. And I don't want to like overuse the term all-mountain because I think everybody kind of gets that mixed up in their head. But when I say it, I mean that you can ski this ski anywhere here at CB, anywhere in New England, anywhere in Utah, California, whatever. And you'll have a really playful ski for any condition until you get into those, you know, those deeper snow situations. But I think the idea behind 100 and kind of adding a little bit more of that tail rise and kind of bringing up the tip as well was providing a ski that's really approachable for the consumer, somebody that's looking for a 100 underfoot ski, but then also kind of providing that performance, you know, almost twin style ski to somebody who's looking for, you know, the do-it-all, maybe it's a little bit of park, maybe it's a little bit of, you know, all-mountain freeride, freestyle, like whatever it might be. That's a great ski to kind of pick off the wall and do that with. And when we move towards 106, like you can kind of notice that there's a connection between 100 and 106, but there's also like a really nice break that kind of helps gain understanding of why the shape is the shape it is. The shape is the way it is.
Gotcha. Well, let's just go right into that comparison then. Like someone like 100 and 106 underfoot, I feel like those are common all-mountain lists for a lot of North America, especially. How do you view, like, what sort of customers might you push towards a QST 106 versus a QST 100? Yeah,
no, I mean, I think the 106, it's kind of our cornerstone ski, at least, you know, the way that I think about it. It's been one of the most popular skis in the line. It's also been the most consistent ski in the line. The 106 has been around since day one. And it's also the closest to its predecessor.
Okay, yeah.
From a shape standpoint. I mean, it's the tip shape basically from like 4 foot forward is quite similar. Contact points did get brought out a little bit.
Okay.
So it does have a little bit of a longer turn radius. And then the tail shape did get adjusted as well, both in rocker and shape. The idea behind QST 106 is a little bit more, I kind of refer to it as like fall line freeride.
Okay.
And so this customer, this skier, whatever, is somebody that's really looking for a ski that has a little bit more charge, a little bit more fall line, a little bit more aggressive freeride skiing. And so where we see a lot of success with 106 is obviously here in CB. Places like Alta Snowbird, Jackson Hole, Big Sky, the places where people have more fall line skiing than they could even dream of. But want that ski that's going to be stable at high speed and really make a nice turn in kind of whatever conditions you throw at it. Whereas the 100 is, like I said, a little bit more playful, a little bit more kind of all over the mountain, finding the jumps, finding the cliffs, finding the side hits, whatever it might be. Easy to kind of let those tails release and do the fun things you want to do. The 106 is kind of the balance to that, where it's a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more powerful.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I got on the new QST 106 yesterday for the first time, and I think the main thing I noticed is that it just feels a little bit stiffer overall versus the last one, a little bit more powerful, especially versus the new 100. Let's move on to the widest ski of the core QST collection, the new QST Blank. The name is mostly the same, but what are the main differences with the latest generation of the Blank?
Yeah, so the cool thing is this is Blank Generation 2 versus the rest of the QST line, but I think the Blank was really successful in its own right, the original. A lot of people found it quite unique because it had a pretty short turn radius. We wanted to take everything that everybody loved about the Blank and then take a lot of feedback that we got from our athletes and the rest of the market and really make a ski that kind of stands out in that, again, aggressive freeride scene. It's ski of choice right now for all of our FWQ and FWT athletes, and that was a really big driver, right? Like, the Blank was awesome, and again, it kind of went back to like a pretty playful ski. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to be able to take this ski out of the factory and hand it to those guys on the FWT and have them feel confident in, downhill performance in a really high stress situation. And so with QST Blank, it's a really updated shape and a really updated rocker profile. Contact points again got brought quite a bit far out versus the original model.
Okay.
The tail shape is a little bit flatter. Rocker got dropped in the tail, and then the tail got squared off too.
Okay.
And then tip shape is similar, just because we want everybody to like look at a QST on the wall and be able to know it's a QST without having to read, right? But way stiffer underfoot, a lot stiffer in the tail. The recommended mounting point also is 7 back from center, so kind of gearing more towards that freeride skier, somebody that's looking to be a little bit more balanced on the ski, have something where when they land, they know that they're going to feel solid. Those are kind of the big updates and ideas around Blank, and I like that you called out the name is almost the same. So it is the S-Lab QST Blank this year.
Yeah.
And that's a new thing from us, from a nomenclature standpoint. The QST line, the way that we see it is 106, 100, and 94. The S-Lab QST line is going to be S-Lab QST Blank, S-Lab QST Echo, and S-Lab QST X.
Gotcha.
And so the idea behind this is that Blank, Echo, and X are kind of your highest performance, really dedicated core skier. That's who those models are speaking to. And what we really want to do is, by bringing back kind of that S-Lab nomenclature, S-Lab has this heritage of, athlete-driven product. And so for us, those are obviously the products that all of our athletes are on. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to bring these products back into that S-Lab family and have, a really deep dive, nitty gritty R&D cycle on all 3 of those models. And the idea is that these models will live in that athlete R&D cycle and be constantly updated. And those learnings and those findings from all of those will then update the rest of the line.
I gotcha.
And inform the rest of the line. And so by kicking it off with, making sure that every ski kind of shares the same technology and same feeling, what we really want to do is continue to take the learnings from those skis and kind of move them into the rest of the QST line so that the consumer can really feel confident in picking any QST off the wall and having a good time and, knowing that it's going to feel somewhat similar.
Gotcha. As far as the other skis that now fall under that S-Lab name, QST X, QST Echo, any changes to those for next season, or more of the same, mostly from the previous models?
Yeah, so X was new last year, and it'll end up being the same for 2025. The Echo got a graphic update, and then we added a notch in the tail, which was much needed and very wanted. And honestly, it's pretty funny, for adding a really small piece of technology, like the amount of people that are super fired up on it is awesome. So no construction changes to either of those skis, but the nice little tail notch on the Echo is a little tip of the cap.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, makes sense. QST Echo being touring-oriented version, a little bit lighter weight. And I think it also makes sense with the updates you talked about with the QST Blank. Like the QST X came out last year, ultra surfy POW ski. And yeah, it's sensible to have the Blank. Like it's a free ride ski. You see a lot of people riding big, fast lines on it. So that, I think we've got a pretty cohesive picture. We've got one outlier behind us. Tell me more about the Départ.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we've talked about Départ yet.
I don't think we have in this realm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to be the first person to talk about it with you guys. I wish that Sammy could be here to talk about it because truly, Départ is, our return to what we're calling post-park. And the Départ is not a competition park ski. It's not a slope ski. It is really, and like the feeling and the explanation that I've gotten from Sammy is really truly a creative expression of what you want to do, whether it's park skiing, street skiing, or honestly even those guys are skiing it with a shift in the Swiss backcountry, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But Départ is led by the Départ athletes, and while a lot of the skis behind me are athlete driven, especially QST Blank, we have a really, really phenomenal design, R&D, and graphic team in Annecy, and like seriously, some of the best people that we can work with. But Départ is truly an athlete-driven ski. The main minds behind it are Nico Vignier and Sammy Ortlieb, and Sammy has done a really, really good job he's done everything from shape to construction to graphics, and so it's kind of all theirs. The way the ski skis, the way it feels, it's super surfy, but it also will lay a turnover like nobody's business. I think I get asked more often than not, like, do I know Sleepy Grill? And like, no, never met him. But his style of skiing is truly like the pinnacle of what the Départ's all about, right? Whatever type of expression you're looking to achieve, Départ is kind of that ski for that. And while it does live in somewhat of a niche space, it still lives within what we're trying to do at Salomon, where we're trying to push versatility, performance, and precision, and like the Départ still kind of encompasses all of that.
Yeah, I got on it for the first time yesterday, I think. I don't know, we're at day 3 of the summit. My brain's turning to mush, but it was really fun, and it was a lot more versatile than I expected. Like you said, it can carve really well, especially I had it out in like slush, and that just felt perfect, and just super accessible flex pattern. It's one of those skis where I struggle to describe it really well because the words that come to mind are like the least useful, like fun and playful. And like that means different things to other people, but the bottom line is like I had a great time on it. A few of our other reviewers have been on it. We've all enjoyed it, and looking forward to especially comparing it to like QST 100 versus Départ, diving into that comparison more in the future. It's exciting.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think you're right. It is really hard to describe Départ, and I think the other thing too is that it's hard to do right by Sammy and the team because they have put so much work into this ski and then creating something that's like really unique and different. And I think a lot of people, when Salomon kind of had this return to freestyle skiing, that they were looking for what we used to be, and that's not the idea. The idea is really to hand this to them and kind of let them continue with it and do what they want to do. But yeah, it's fun, it's surfy, it's whatever. But I mean, I think like the best way I can describe Départ is I spent last summer in Mount Hood with Sammy and Dane Kirk, who also skis for the Départ team, and from the top of the glacier to the park, I watched them ski the biggest super G turns I've ever seen with Dane dragon hip, and then I watched them go into the park and do some of the coolest, most creative stuff I've seen, and then down into the half pipe where there was hand drags and hand planes galore. And so like it truly is still very versatile, but super unique and very creative.
Well, cool. Thank you very much for the full rundown on everything. Appreciate you guys being at the summit, and I think we're or as of filming this, we're rounding up our final videos, which means we might actually get to ski together tomorrow.
Hey, that'd be great. I've done a little bit of skiing so far, so I'd love to get out with you. And yeah, we love coming to the summit every year, so we're super stoked to be here.
Sweet, glad to have you here.
Awesome, dude.
Cool.